Senator Bettencourt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, to the judge and to the mayor, 108 plus people could have lost their lives here. The whole nation grieves with you. That's why you have a tremendous heartstrings now from just not in Texas, not from all our districts, but all across the nation. I wanted to start with Judge Rubio real fast. You mentioned in your testimony that you were worried if we had and we're calling it a flood emergency communications and warning system, that we would not have funding for that, for maintenance and operation. I want to make sure you know that Lieutenant Governor Patrick, Speaker Burrows, Governor Abbott have all said that the state's going to pay for it, and we're looking at ways to make sure you have that maintenance and operation money long term.
Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Rector, you mentioned something that I need to ask further questions about. You said you weren't really sure about a river alert system actually being able to save lives, and you mentioned that the wall of water was moving at 17 miles per hour.
Yes, sir.
Right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's
and
correct.
You said the camps were 7 miles downstream. Now, by my simple Aggie math calculation, that's 24 minutes. Now, if we had an integrated system, and your organization was looking at one, I think it was 10 river crossings, if I remember from the engineering study I read. But if we had an integrated gauge system with an alert that was also tied electronically downstream, we could be popping sirens off as we go. And 24 minutes is enough to get people to higher ground, because that's all you can do here. You don't want to put them into a river crossing. You want to get them to a higher ground.
Yes.
So with that fact and the fact that there's 24 minutes, you want to change your response on if you think a river alert system could have helped save lives?
Bill Rector, UGRA. Yes, sir, Senator. There's no question that that could have saved lives.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we established that. Mr. Wright, you had a lot of testimony. I first off want to say that the statistics are that we know Texans turn off their alerts about 29.5% of the time. That's 5 times more than Vermonters. Also, we got a problem with people turning phones off at night, about 18%. You combine that, you're already in the 40 percentile of people that are not going to be able to get this, and that's not counting the unique topography of the hill country and the Guadalupe River, of which I've been here for more years than I can remember. Now, we agree that this should be like the mayor. We want a data system that's that's minute by minute and can respond. But in your written testimony, we asked about sirens and whether siren alert system could have helped us respond more effectively or even save lives. And you said it wasn't an easy question to answer with certainty. It's something we've evaluated in the past, and I just want to make sure you made a comment about visitors not understanding what the sirens mean. And that's because we're going to probably pass these bills and get these systems out. And I think it's incumbent that, and we understand the high walls. I mean, I've rafted this area. We've got 50 to 100 foot cliffs areas, but shouldn't we be more concerned about getting that siren into people's auditory range so they can take action and get to higher ground?
William Thomas, Kerr County. Yes, sir. What I was referring to is we need the education piece. We need something on our websites, social media, those types of places where the public can go to and see what those sirens actually mean.
But you're not saying that we shouldn't do this because the public won't understand what it
Oh,
means?
no, sir, at all.
Okay.
I think we definitely need it.
No, I just wanted to make sure that wasn't part of the record, because that's the way it reads. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And Sheriff, understand the points we've already covered. There was one thing that you said that we do have to visit. You said there was no time for formal orders. I need to know what that means. I think the public needs to know what that means.
Exactly. When I say formal orders, you talk about an incident command or something like that. At that particular time, it was time to save lives and go to work. You know what I mean? We'll set up, as administration, we'll set that up. When I say it's time to take action, I mean, it was real time. Things are happening right there at that time.
Because we agree about the river crossings and the other statements about getting people on our ground. Now, if there was an emergency alert system, okay, you're not saying by this testimony that you wouldn't have hit the button because the emergency management coordinator works for both you and the judge.
Yes.
But because when you say there's no time for formal orders, that could be misinterpreted as I didn't have time to do code red. I shouldn't have done a code red. So I want to give you the chance to make sure you specify exactly what occurred. Now, before you do, OEM or Director Nidden Kidd said that in testimony that no alert was issued by Kerr County on evacuations. So,
Okay, what I'm saying on my comment is it's not kind of, let's call the administrator or supervisor and ask what to do. I mean, it's time to take action at that time. That's what I'm trying to say, sir.
okay, so if we had an alert system, now, and I do want to ask you and the judge, because the Director, Kidd was, said that there was not an evacuation order issued by Kerr County at any time. Now, is that just oversight, didn't have the system? What was the issue, why that evacuation order wasn't issued?
It was too late. It was too late.
Okay.
This was so massive and arrived so quickly that if you've driven that road, and you've been to the camps, we're talking about thousands of campers. And then we have the residents. And trying to move down Highway 39, which is 2-lane with no right-of-ways. And it's 2 lanes with no right-of-ways because it's privately owned, but it's a public use road. And the number of buses that bring the campers out sometimes are bumper to bumper and go on for half a day. Those of you that have seen it know what I'm talking about. To try to get those people out of, and you got to remember the configuration. You've got the North Fork and the South Fork, and then they get to La Junta. Mm-hmm. We're going to have one heck of a traffic jam at La Junta.
And,
closer. Okay.
And Judge,
closer.
in the interest of time, could the cubic flow on the river,
yes, sir,
was 2.5 times the average flow over Niagara Falls.
Absolutely.
Which is an astonishing number. And I think in 1987, I'm going from memory, I think 10 people lost their lives because we tried to evacuate people across the river.
Children in the school bus.
Right. So no one would suggest that. Okay. The concept I'm trying to get to is this. The watches were in place till about 1:06. 1:14, the mayor, everyone said that it turns into a warning. And by 4:23 a.m., it's the highest level the Weather Service can get, which is a emergency alert. So at that point in time, would there not have been a recognition of the obvious that there needs to be an alert that says effectively get to higher ground?
I agree.
Okay. Thank you for your response.
Chair recognizes Chairman Moody.
Thank you very much. I'll try to be succinct and to the point. I just have a couple follow-ups for some folks. But before I say that, just to y'all here and to the folks that have been through this tragedy, in just a few days, community I come from, El Paso, is going to recognize an anniversary that we don't like to think about. But during that time, as the mayor stated, we also saw